Hello, welcome to the Australians Campaign HQ. I'm Chris Kenny and I'm joined by the Australians columnist Troy Bramston. The big news today is the entry of former Queensland Premier Peter Beattie into the election campaign. He's now going to take over as the Labor candidate for the Queensland seat of Ford, a seat that Labor was on track perhaps to win back from the Liberal National Party at this election. Troy Bramston, does this make this seat a certain gain for the government?
Well, I think that's what Queensland Labor are hoping. They're hoping that to draw on Peter Beattie's profile as an almost a 10-year premier, a four-time election winner, big profile across the state. They would be expecting to pick up that seat and hoping to get a boost, I think, in the Labor campaign across Queensland as well.
Look, it's a seat that they couldn't have been certain of picking up, but surely they still can't be certain of picking it up. Peter Beattie may be a negative as well. He's a premier who, after he departed, a lot of people blamed the state's budgetary and debt problems and its loss of its AAA credit rating on Peter Beattie.
I think every political leader after a period in office would attract some negatives. When he left office, the Labor Party was ahead of the coalition in the polls. He had a net approval rating, and there's been a bit of distance, I guess, 5 or 6 or 7 years since then. The margin is less than 2%, so I think Labor's very confident of picking up.
I'm very suspicious of this. I think it's all about the Labor Party trying to create a sense of momentum and trying to suggest things are going a lot better for them than they think. But we'll see, I suppose, as polling comes out during the election campaign. I want to just go on to another substantial policy issue, and that is the border protection issue. The Immigration Minister Tony Burke yesterday saying that there is evidence, there is intelligence suggesting the flow of boats is stopping. Certainly in the Australian today, our reporters with exclusive insight from Indonesia suggesting that is true. Yet, of course, another boat arrival yesterday. Just how crucial is the arrival of boats between now and election day?
Well, about 10 days or so ago, a senior Labor strategist said to me quite simply, if Labor can stop the boats, they can win the election. That is still a big challenge out there, particularly...
How can that be, though? I mean, even if they stop the boats, the issue is a big negative for them because they started the boats in the first place, and even if they were able to partly neutralise this issue, they've still got the issues of the economy and the budget and the carbon tax. How can that one issue enable them to win an election?
Well, that was just a shorthand way of, I guess, a Labor strategist trying to identify what is a significant negative for Labor going into this campaign after the failure of the East Timor solution, the Malaysia People Swap plan. Labor had to do something on this issue. They believe they've got a circuit breaker, and as our own reporting today shows, and as Tony Burke says, the Minister, that there is a sign already that a number of asylum seekers, perhaps in the thousands, are now reconsidering their plans to jump on a boat. So time will tell. Maybe not enough time before polling day, but that's certainly what Labor is hoping.
Right, and just finally, we've seen during this term, of course, Labor effectively govern in coalition, in agreement with the Greens. Now, of course, they're trying to distance themselves from the Greens, and it looks like the Liberal Party, at least in New South Wales, might be helping them out by preferencing against the Greens, therefore helping someone like Anthony Albanese, I suppose, or Tanya Plibersek hold their inner city seats rather than the Liberals preferencing the Greens and raising the possibility of Green victories.
Yeah, look, we've seen a significant lift in the Labor primary vote, so I'm not sure that Tanya Plibersek or Anthony Albanese would have been under threat anyway, but the bigger threat here is to the Greens themselves. So we know that Adam Bandt won the lower house seat of Melbourne at the last election because he had Liberal Party preferences, so that is very significant. He can't win it otherwise, but I think no political party, Labor or Liberal, over the past 3 years wants to attach themselves in any way to the Greens. They are a tarnished brand, they're seen as extremists, so both political parties are trying to put a lot of distance between themselves and the Greens.
Well, how quickly times change. It seems like only 5 minutes ago when Julia Gillard and Wayne Swan were happy to do everything with Bob Brown. Now he's gone, so is Julia Gillard and Wayne Swan. Everyone wants to distance themselves from the Greens. Thanks, Troy Bramston, and that's all we've got today from Campaign HQ.